Well, here we are at the 90 miles straight sign, heading east once again, 35 k's out of Balladonia. Okay, so we're just passing Culver rest area, truck stop on the right at 50 k's out of Balladonia, roughly 50 k's, heading east. And at 59 kilometres roughly up the road, east of Balladonia. You'll see these couple of drums on the side of the road. There's the old drum and the new drum with a rock on top. Okay, this is the entry into the track that's on most of the maps. So we're just going to pop in here. Sorry about the sun in your eyes earlier, but what a lovely looking day out here. Not too bad at all. Not much wind. So we're just going to stop here and let some air out of the tyres and continue down the track with some more info for you, and hopefully a few nice photos and sights to see. Right, so we just dropped the tyres down for now, for comfort, mainly. 20 on the front. Yep, I like a bit of comfort. 24 on the rear because it's a bit heavy, so just keep it up there a little bit. A couple of broken trailers off to the left. Okay, so if Mud Maps is correct, we've got 66 k's to getting close to the beach, to at least an intersection that I've put down, so probably a little bit further, probably about, see, it's certainly been wet lately, but hasn't rained, the heavy rain hasn't been for a couple of weeks, which is why we sort of continued with the trip plan. But there has been a lot of light drizzly sort of showers, just passing showers, keeping it damp on top as well, so should be right. We'll see how we go. Yeah, probably, you know, 70 k's to the beach, I'd guess, and another sort of 30 each way. Depends what you're doing. Have a look around. We're not sure what we're doing yet. It all depends on what the weather decides to do, and we're just going to change up the plan depending on what the weather pulls off for us today. One of the things we noticed, if you do come down here at all, keep your eyes peeled, there's a dodgy fence down the middle. So the old track obviously was twice as wide as this. You can't really sort of see it too well in the camera, but have a look across to the right there. But there's a, I don't know what it's for, there's a fence down the middle. It's just hookups and wire, about 5 wires, and they didn't do a very good job. There's a lot of star pickets laid over on the track, so some have been driven over, some haven't. There's bits of wire in places and all that, so if you do come down here anytime, just keep an eye out for that as a bit of a hazard. So where this track comes down, it's going to be right between the end of the Baxter Cliffs, what's it called, Point Culver, and the Bilbunya dunes. A bit confusing on maps too, because there's a lot of maps I've looked at, and there's a couple of different places where sand dunes that they call Bilbunya dunes. So if anyone's got any info that knows more than me about that, let me know, because everyone talks about, you know, I don't watch many other YouTubers, simply because, yeah, if you want the right information, you watch my videos, not theirs, because they're either new and they're not that experienced, and or sponsored or heavily sponsored, so you're just not going to get the right products and the right setups with the experience. You need to, I suppose, watch more experienced people, or people that specialise in those vehicle setups that actually use them as well. You just got to be really careful who you listen to. But look, I had a look at a few videos, and everybody refers to the Bilbunya dunes, the ones, you know, it's probably 30-40 k's west of Point Culver, which is the end of the Baxter Cliffs at the west end. But there's also some dunes a couple hundred k's further east, if you like, and it also on a number of maps, Bilbunya dunes. So pretty confusing if there's two lots of dunes called the same name. But are all these maps wrong, or all these people, they don't remember to mention which Bilbunya dunes they're at. Now we know they're generally at the ones to the west side, as I've already said, but look, this track should come down near there. Pretty straightforward driving so far. We're about 20-25 k's in, so probably not even halfway at the moment. It's going to be a couple of hours, I'd imagine, depending on the track conditions. It'll probably slow down a bit. At the moment we've been able to cruise along at 30 to 40 k's an hour. Just keep an eye out for the potholes, the tree roots, the fence wire, all this sort of thing. But yeah, and then you got access to have a bit of a look around down there, and you could go either way from there depending on weather conditions. As I said, we're not sure what we're doing at the moment. We're keeping an eye on the weather and the conditions on the ground, and we'll use our experience and whatever's happening on the ground to make a decision what we're going to do. So we'll just keep cruising down there. We're coming across quite a few of these wet areas, so you can get through it. You got to watch out. I'm going over some sticks at the moment. You got to watch out for that sort of stuff. You dodge the mud that you can get through to get a puncher, so just be careful of your decisions. Just driving through the second wooded area. We're at 86 k's, so about 25, 26, 27 k's in. There was another one a few k's back, say 5 k's back. Nice open area where you could camp as well, for handy to know. And there's plenty of dead trees on the ground, so plenty of firewood. Nobody's going to be out here, so you're going to have no shortage of firewood. You won't get any water out here. Well, you can, there's ways of getting water, but that's not this video. Let's talk about whose video to watch a little bit more, just briefly. What are the reasons why people make YouTube videos? Well, I'm not sure really. There's some cool people out there, some nice people. They make some videos, good videos. I spend a lot of time on it, obviously. Do they do it? I'm not sure why they do it really. I do look at the videos and I go, what? Some people maybe just like sharing, their trip. Some people maybe they're a little bit of fame. I notice the cameras are always turned around on them, that sort of thing. There's big YouTube channels, little YouTube channels. There's some blokes that just cruise around and, give you a bit of information. And maybe, I don't know, they're a bit lacking. They're not that good. They miss some of the important parts, is what I find when I'm trying to gather information. I do watch someone else's video. I don't really get out of it what I'm looking for, so I try and fill those gaps. So my reason is, it's not for fame. That's why the camera doesn't face my way. It's not about me. I'm just out here. I'm happy to share the information, the experiences, and I try and give you the information. How much fuel do you need? How much water do you need? How many kilometres was it? How to mark the turn, how to find the turn, how many kilometres. That's why I'm sort of giving you distances as we go. The information that you need to plan a trip. Now, obviously the big YouTube channels, they're heavily sponsored. And they probably did it from the start. It's all about money, I guess. I don't know. Some people just like making videos. And obviously for the majority, it's probably about money. And then the sponsorship comes along. Like I get a lot of people contact me for whichever YouTube channel. And I'm happy to try it. They can send me products and I'm happy to try it. And I'll honestly tell you about it. And if I like it, I'll tell you about it. And if I don't like it, often we just really won't talk about it. And obviously then they can go quiet and not send me anything else. If they ask, I'll give them the feedback. Look, I didn't really like it for this reason. What's the chances you want to have a look into it and change it? And if it's a quality company, I'll use K-On as the example again. They'll listen, they'll think, and they'll most likely do. Where a lot of other companies, they're not interested in feedback or complaining, and they just want to keep selling their stuff. So they'll go to someone else, like maybe those other YouTube channels. So just be careful what you watch, because there's a lot of bad setups and people, their videos are about, oh, not again, I've got a broken this or a broken that, and I've had, and they don't give you all the bad news either, really. Now, I'll give you all the bad news. I'll just tell you about quality vehicles and quality setups. We're not going to have any problems with this vehicle, with any of the things on this vehicle on this trip, most likely, and we don't on any other trip, because we start off with solid vehicles that we know well, that are well maintained, and everything that gets bolted on is carefully considered and professionally done. And that's what it comes down to, really. You've got to know products. You've got to have a basic bit of an engineering common sense brain, if you like, to be able to go, that's going to work or that's not going to work. Maybe not everything works out, but I'll tell you, we've had a pretty good run. Anyway, that's what I mean when I say, whose videos to watch. I mean, I would, if it was me, I'd highly prioritise my channel, of course I would, right? Is that biased or something like that? What do they call it? But, you know, that's because, look, I'm doing my best for you, and maybe everyone else is as well. Maybe you need to get a mix of all the different videos. I know a lot of you watch a lot of different YouTube channels. All the best. I'm just saying, be careful what you watch, and if you're looking for a channel that fills in those gaps with information, that's what I'm trying to do. So whether it's track days when we go out on day trips, quite often we do that sort of thing. We don't do it over again and again, so if you see a video where there's no info, that's because it was done previously. Once again, we've got playlists there. And when we're traveling, you know, the outback and remote places, that's where I try and include the most important info. So if you didn't figure it out from the start of the video, we did refuel at Balladonia. The fuel there was just under $2.40 a litre at the moment, which is a bit of a rip-off, but it's not too bad. Some people say, oh, look where it is, but you know, I get fuel in remote places, and I know it doesn't cost 40 cents a litre more to get fuel delivered a little bit further. So, and then you've got, don't bother filling up at Border Village, because that's about the dearest fuel across there, and there's just no reason for it. 13 k's down the road, you can get it 40 cents a litre cheaper. And if you plan your trip right, and you've got something like a Prado with a bigger fuel tank, or jerry cans, you'll be able to dodge that as well. So you've got to use Petrol Spy, have a look before. It's all part of planning your trip. What's the fuel prices, how far in between. A lot of areas through here you could camp through, actually. Of course we're headed to the coast. Enough yak. We're about 30 k's in now, so we're about halfway to a point where tracks intersect, I believe, and we'll have some views or some options whether we, you know, you can sort of keep heading west. I think you can go behind the dunes, you can probably go in front of the dunes on the beach depending on the conditions. Probably good at the moment because it's been wet, plenty of rain, but you've got to look at the beaches. You've got to, I talk about beaches and different sands and stuff in videos. Some people call it waffle, but it's experience, and that's what I'm sharing. And if you don't want the waffle, then go to someone else's videos telling you about all these quality products and whatever. Oh, now I've got this one's even better than that one, and everyone will be getting the latest upgrade. So if you want to know BS thing that's just value for money, that's what you're going to get, mate. Nobody's going to be paying me to tell you something's good or not. Now, if I find something that's damn awesome, or you've got a product that is awesome, and you want to send me one, and I like it, and you want me to go on and on about it more than I already do, because that's free, then you can pay me money. I'll take tips and, you know, gifts, no problem at all. You can pay me the money, and then I'll put it in the YouTube video saying, you know, sponsored, you know, it's a paid, you know, whatever, because that's what they're meant to do. Some of them do, some of them don't. I don't get paid to tell you anything, right? So I'm sure we could do that. We could follow down those lines, but it's not for the money. It's just for sharing the information for free for you. Hopefully I'll make a few bucks from YouTube as well, but I'll tell you now, it doesn't pay very well, so it's certainly not for the money. Anyway, let's get down to this beach and see what else we got for you. I could be wrong, but I think this is the first time our 2008 120 with 430 odd thousand kilometres. First time it's been out of Victoria since 2019. So if you're new to our videos, you can subscribe and turn the bell on if you want. You can check out our other channel, How to Look After the Vehicles, 4x4 Diesel, spelt the same as 4x4 Adventures except diesel. You might find that interesting, doesn't matter what vehicle you've got. Yeah, but the 120's loving it. Why hasn't the 120 been out of the state? Now, I could be wrong, I could have gone a road, but look, I don't think so. I really think it hasn't been out of the state since 2019, because we've got another newer vehicle, which we decided that purchase in 2019 was just to have a newer vehicle, to learn about it as far as the maintenance and the use, and you don't learn as much about the vehicles by working on them, because that's what we do, as you do owning them and using them. So it was partly that. Of course, it's a good tax deduction when you're making some money, so there's always going to be a fairly new vehicle there. I wasn't happy with the 2019, just briefly. The sluggish little engine in the big Land Cruiser 150, LC 150, call it a Prado if you want, but it's an LC 150 with a 2755cc, and I was really super disappointed with the transmission software. So in 2020, was it 2021, I think it was 2021, we ordered it was early 21, I think, yeah, we ordered an update, the remap version, because they gave it a bit more kilowatts, some more torque, and I was told the transmission's better, so risk it for the biscuit. Ordered one, different colour, dusty bronze instead of charcoal, and sold the the charcoal one. Got the money back on that one in the C word, that thing that went for a few years and forever. But anyway, not even going to say it. And look, the remap version's a lot better. So we've still got that one. We're going to keep that another year or two, get it out on some trips. The 120 and that vehicle obviously fighting to get out. So, we'll just have to work it out between them. It's like a pair of kids, mate. They want to, my turn. Anyway, and then next year, probably in 25, I'd say about then, we'll probably transfer all the 150 gear over from the 2022, January 22 it was when we got it, 150. All that 150 gear will get transferred over to the 2013 1KD we've got now, which is just waiting patiently, doing a bit of runaround work, but waiting patiently to be geared up. And that will be the final bush basher, I think. The kids will probably take the Hilux and the 120, but we'll just see. That could change, right? A few spare cars around. They've been earmarked, and some spare. They're all really good cars, so we don't really want to sell them because they're good cars. Other than obviously the 1GD, that can go. Whatever. That's a short-term vehicle. Technology issues, and known to have a number of issues, and unless you're lucky, might not last that long without causing you some grief. So just be prepared, get yourself educated on those. There's not a lot of information out on them because I don't work on them, and therefore, I don't know who else is sharing the information on the ground like what I do on the 1KDs, which actually really good. Makes them look bad because we're sharing all the bad stuff as well. There's no secrets, whatever, but there's not that much of it, to be honest. It's just generally all manageable. Let's see if we get bog going around with this old tree came out of the ground. Yeah, felt a bit soft. So you got to think about things like that. So the track's well used, it's been wet, it's packed down. When a tree goes over and there's a big loose, but look, it's obviously been driven around enough that it's a non-issue at the moment, but you got to think about these things. Anyway, you get the picture, don't you? Right, and then of course when we sell the 22 vehicle, there will be a replacement. What's it going to be? Well, let's see what vehicles with what engines Toyota have brought to Australia. Will it be a 300 series with a V6 diesel? Will it be a hybrid? It would be nice if it was a hybrid petrol, but I don't know what they're going to have in a year or two. I'd be hoping there's a nice hybrid petrol. I'm recommending people don't buy new diesels, really, especially diesel hybrids or part hybrids or mild hybrids or whatever they're wasting your time and money with, right? That's what I believe. TMCA, wasting your money. The petrol hybrid's what you want, and there'll be other options coming along down the road. There'll be a lot happening over the next coming years, things changing rapidly with different fuels and stuff like that. So yeah, like I keep saying, you don't want to get left holding the bag on these diesels. They want to get rid of these diesels. They want to bring in all these new. They will do something to upset you and get these cars off the road or make them very expensive to keep. So these people that once again they sit around yakking a drama about that, we could do that as well, but it's a fact of the matter that let's not talk about if climate change is real or not. I'm not saying it is or it isn't. We'll keep everyone happy for saying it, but just assuming it is, the world control organisations, they are controlling the show, and they will get our people to do something to make it happen, because there's things that have got to be met by certain dates that we've agreed to, and this is one of the smallest problems. Let's not go there. It's getting political now, isn't it? You know what I mean? You know what's going around the world. Anyway, let's get down to this beach ride. What am I talking about? Long video. We'll make this one a long one. I think it's time for a track update. We'll run through a few of the changes in the last couple of Ks. We're on 115 from Balladonia. It was 60 at the turn, wasn't it? 59, 60, whatever. Call it 60 even numbers. So we're 55. No, we're not. We're 55 Ks in. In the last few Ks, there's a lot of patches of very rocky stuff. So there's a bit of rock here, not as bad. If I was trying to talk to you back there, rock and rattle and roll big time, right? So a lot more rock in the track. So the vegetation's a lot greener and a bit thicker at the sides. It's not like a fully overgrown I've been through heaps worse, but just letting you know there is some overgrown sections, overhanging trees, and that's definitely thicker, greener vegetation, slower going because of the rocky, that rocky stuff. I mean, you can smash over it, but you're probably going to wreck your vehicle, so you need to slow it down a bit when it gets rough. So I just thought I'd give you that bit of an update. At about, like I said, 55 k's in another 4 or 5 kilometres, we might be able to see something a bit different. Picked up a stick. It's not where you want a stick, is it? I'm going to cut it off, I think. Not the greatest. So we've got the chainsaw and cut it out, but look what the stick's done. Crazy, right? So this metal guard here that goes above the exhaust, it's fully ripped away off its mounting point. It's meant to be on that bolt there, and it's over here against the transfer case. What a mess. So I'll get some gloves out and try and fix that up, do the best we can. So if you come across sticks, don't think you're always going to get lucky. Sometimes they get picked up, and that was my mistake. I thought I was going to clear it, but it got picked up in the worst possible place and did a bit of minor damage. All right, let's see how that goes. Yeah, just got a bit unlucky. It was just a normal stick laying on the track. Hit it one side with a tyre, and it happened to sort of lift a little bit, enough to just bang, stab it right in there, and the other end's come up, hit the heat shield above the catalytic converter at the front, ripped it off its mounts and scrunched it back towards the tail shaft. So I stopped quickly as soon as that happened, because I was sort of, you know, I knew there was a chance that was going to happen, because, you know, comes with experience. You know, when you've hit enough sticks and had a few under there like everybody else has, you know the chances of what might happen. So to be honest, instead of risking it for the biscuit, it wasn't a big deal, but next time I see a stick like that, given my location, I'm just going to slow down and crawl over it so that that doesn't happen. If it does come up, hopefully I can back off it and it'll drop down again and have another go, or just get out and move the bloody thing. But it wasn't some big branch, it was just a little flat stick, probably, you know, 30-40 mil in diameter, one end 20 mil at the other, you know, fairly straight. Just happened to be one of those ones that you touch on one side and the other end lifts up and whoosh, try to spear the tail shaft. Anyway, bit of a lesson, because, you know, minor damage, but it could have been worse. And if it was worse, and where you are, right, you're a long way from help, so it's worth taking a little bit of extra caution. Here we go, you can see the line we're crossing now, getting into the Nutsland, Neutzland. Alright, so 2 signs for now. We're going to head down to Point Culver to the right, Tulina 50 k's back to the left. A little bit further up, the track splits off. To the left goes up the sand, and to the right is the rocky track. That's the one you stick on, the rocky track, if you want to head down on the main track and get down to the beach or the dunes and go along to the bottom of the point, or anywhere further west. Oh, and it's very rocky, so for the last about an hour, where are we now? We're probably 2 or 3 hours, is it, on the way in so far? You know, I mean, I haven't timed it. There's a few wet patches, but see how it's a bit rough. We love it when it's smooth like this, but look, one rock. Let's just call them one rock. And it's smooth like this, beautiful. But there's a lot of rock. There's a lot of areas very rocky. You know, there's a few tracks in the high country where they're just really rocky. What's it called? Near Lake Cobbler there, on the way down to there. Yeah, you know the one I'm talking about. It's just slow and rocky, but maybe even worse. See, like here, it's just got heaps of rock in it. I can't even really talk to you. It's that rocky. It's just rough. And the tyres are on 20. I mean, we can let them down a bit more towards sand pressure is probably a good idea, and soften up the ride a bit. So yeah, but you know, 20 should be not too bad. Might get out and make a little adjustment. Right, now we're on 16 and 18. See how that goes. Give you a report if it's any better. Maybe a little bit, but yeah, marginal. I think it helped. Let's give it a bit longer. A lot of people actually, they said, oh, you know, I like the driving videos, the scenery. They say that on the 4x4 diesel channel. So I wonder how many of those people don't actually realise we've got full before adventures. So if you see any comments anywhere of people going, oh, you know, I like that, you know, tell them get on full before adventures, right? Because we're going to tell you about, you know, good ideas, bad ideas, based on real experiences. And like I've mentioned in another video recently, you don't need to go and spend money you haven't got and get loans to get vehicles set up with stuff you don't need. It's all a big show, mate. These companies, they are getting richer, if you like, for a simple way to put it, based on all these influencers influencing. I'm going to influence you to not spend money. Get out and travel, yeah, do it wisely. You don't need to just get crazy with the loans and the latest vehicles that are actually less reliable. Why do you think I'm out here? Look, I'm not saying the 22 is not going to be reliable as well, because it is the remap version that was out at least for a year. It is only used for highway trips, so that's going to, we look after the DPF best as possible, and the engine. I mean, it's got the best possible oil doing engine hours at average speeds of 190 to 100 k's an hour, which is much better than your average vehicle's about 30. So the oil's in 3 times better condition at any point in time. Okay, things. So who talks about that stuff? You know, thinking outside the square. Anyway, bada bing. It's a real yakking video, this one is. A lot of campsites out here through this area. A lot of, call it a campsite, whatever. A lot of places to camp. I'll call it campsites, but you could just get it. I shouldn't say too much, should we? You know, lucky not too many people watching these videos, right? But yeah, a lot of these people, you watch their videos and they're just a bit, you know, they show places and whatever, and they show videos of them and their bloody snot hanging out their nose driving along and all that. You know, they just got out of bed and they forgot to do their hair and all that, you know. But then some people make sure they're looking sweet. It's all about the entertainment. You know, they're sitting there in their caravans with their families, like, you know, that's all well and good. I suppose people love the reality TV, all that sort of show. They probably watch that Married at First Sight and what else is it? These cooking things and all that garbage anyway. Right? I don't watch any of that. That's absolute garbage in my opinion, of course. We've upset a few people now. Sorry about that. I don't think anybody that thinks that's any good would be listening to my waffle this deep into a video, right? I've just decided we're going to go for it, right? What do you think? Put in the comments. You know I look at the comments, right? So I look at the comments. I haven't always got time to respond, and if it's a long one, I might not have time to read it all. I might read the first bit, the middle bit, the last bit. So if you keep it short and sweet, you know, like a 5-liner or something like that, there's a good chance I'm going to read the whole thing. And yeah, I do take note of those names and who makes the comments, both on all our Facebook groups. We've got a Facebook group also called Full Before Adventures. There's going to be more and more trips, and of course a lot of people have got to work and they can't do trips, and I'm making it, I've planned everything so that I don't have to do that. So it's going to be hard to get enough people to go on all the trips that I can go on. So if you like traveling and you're good at it, or you want to be good at it, and you know you've got a good reliable vehicle that I approve of, maybe stay tuned on Full Before Adventures, because we need to have some small. Have a look at that. Beautiful. A bit windy. So headed down here, it's a low range job, nice and slow, and watch these rubber mats. They're pinned down with Rio bar that's got a T-piece, looks like welded on the top. So to me, it might help you getting up and down here, but it's a real tyre hazard, to be honest. So just watch out for those. You want to sort of try and really keep your eyes peeled. Some of them are sticking out. I really do not like the look of those, right? But you're probably struggling to get back up here without the mats in some conditions, but it all comes down to tyre pressures, doesn't it? But I guess people weren't doing that, so they had to do what they had to do. So let's try and put our bash plate, dare I say it, where the Rio bars are, and just gentle and not on the brakes, so if we do hit one, hopefully we don't rip into it, if you know what I mean. So try and not use the brakes. and I'm really focusing on, like I can see a Rio bar here sticking out right under the left tyre. I think I've just gone on the outside of it, but they're bloody risky. I don't like them. Can you hear it? It makes me nervous. They're hard to dodge as well. Really, literally, there's some I've got to go over, but the ones I'm going over, I'm making sure they are got the tops on them. You've got to look for the ones with the tops broken off, and of course you're not always going to be able to see them. So yeah, anyway, we'll continue with this. If there's any drama, I'll let you know. Oh my goodness, have a look at this. Look at these sand dunes. Absolutely out of control. Massive. Wait till we get down there. So you come down to another bit of a junction and a bit of a camping area, and there's some tracks that follow because the track splits off. I've got it on mud maps, so I went on the Topo map and it showed me the track that dropped down, and we're still on that at the moment. Let me just hit center on map for that one. Right, and it's bringing us down pretty swiftly, but not a hard track. You'd get back up it. Not soft sand at the moment, but I'll tell you what, bring your polarized sunglasses because it is bright down here. Is that car coming down behind me? Yep, beautiful. So there's obviously a few different ways. There's going to be a lot of tracks down here, I've got a feeling, you know, left, right, up, down. At the moment, we just want to get down to the beach, see if it's accessible, because we do have a southeasterly, some sort of south wind anyway, blowing. I'd say it's got a bit of east in it, and probably 20 to 30 k's. Not too bad, but enough to waves, and I think we've got a fairly high tide, so the beach might not be accessible, but if it is, then we're going to head east along the beach. So we've got a couple of options where it splits here, so we'll just go to the left on this one at a guess at the moment. We're just taking guesses, so you really need to, you know, just be prepared, have your fuel, because there's a few different tracks that you could take. You might take the wrong track, or they might all be the right track, just different ways to get there and different things to see. This could be the wrong track, but there's a few signs down here, so hopefully eventually we'll get down there and have a look. Like I said, a bit breezy out here. That's the point up there where we're going to head to. You can see the ocean. I'm just getting out doing some check the beach conditions before we continue. And those massive sand dunes are down there. We'll get to those later. It's time to risk it for the biscuit. Down the beach we go on high tide with 30k winds. We believe the tide's at high, which means worst case scenario, it's on the way out. So, you know, shouldn't be too bad. But you never know, you can have this weed buried under the beach that you don't know about, and a number of other things as well. So get into those narrow beaches sometimes. Look down there, we checked it, it's concrete where it's wet, where the water is, but there's some soft sand on the low side, and the firmer sand was up the top here, believe it or not. So that's why, since we've got the tide position where it is, I've opted to make a line, because there's no other track here at the moment. So we'll reinstate, make the track up the top of the beach, keeps us out of trouble. Cruise along, get you some photos down. I've got some photos on the other phone, so we'll try and get it all together at some point in this video. Include a few photos or at the end, so stick around. Hope you're enjoying the show. obviously looking back down the beach to the west. Fair bit of salt spray in the air, as you would expect. Bit breezy. Like I said, 20-30 k's. Anyway, we just had a bit of a lunch break and now we're just coming into the back of these sand dunes. Like been a few wet mud flat, sort of salt lake mud flatty type areas we've sort of had a bit of fun in. Might be a little bit of mud in the wheel arches. Got ourselves a bit of a soft area here, soft and wet, but we've walked it out as best we can. We're going to see what happens here. Beautiful. Anyway, people, that's a video. I'll just give you a quick look around, give you the quick 360. Right, that's the beach and the dunes down over that way in the distance, straight down over there. Nice little spot in behind the dunes here, because there is a bit of a breeze, as you might notice. Just give you the bit of a view around as well. It's obviously escarpment up over that way. Beautiful. Alright, so you know what to do.
Hey, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. It only takes 1 second, but there'll be a lot more content like this to come.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom.
That's the one. Alright, we'll see you in the next video.